Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Jennings Waterhouse, and we are excited to have you on our Wildly Healthy Happy Hour this evening. It is April 20th, and we have friends joining us from all over the country tonight. And our goal is to share some stories, to answer some questions, maybe get some insider tips on how we use this technology and get you a little more behind the scenes info. So tonight we have two of our incredible founders of this Wildly Healthy group that joined us, that founded this group about 10 years ago. And one of them happens to be my mom, which is Gloria Waterhouse, Dr. Gloria Waterhouse. She has been a medical researcher and professor at Vanderbilt. She's traveled the world and presented research all over. She's had a 40-year career as a psychologist. And she's the reason why I am in this business, because I believe everything that she tells me to do, right? But I also believe in her experience and her knowledge and the way that she found out about this and the research that she did for all of us to make sure that this was everything that we hoped it would be. And then we have Miss Kim Birkhimer, and she is an amazing neurofeedback practitioner. She has had a long career in the tech world as a CEO of her own company and also Fortune 500 company. She has lived many different types of lives, and but she's passionate about healing, about health, and finding solutions for all of us. So if you're coming to us live on a replay, make sure you send us some comments, ask questions. We'll be happy to answer those later, get you any info that you need, but we're happy to join you. And Gloria and Kim, we're hoping that you're gonna tell us, the insider stuff, the down and dirty, what we want to know about why you started this, why you thought this was the thing, why you decided to put this in your body.
I was just looking at the screen here, and I'm looking at the avatar, of our group. We've got a lot of other people that will be joining in on the recording or the Facebook Live that we aren't seeing here. But, we have one of our, characteristics is there are a lot of women here. There are a lot of women here who are over 40 years old, right? There are some women here, maybe the majority of us are over 50. And so that is the population we're talking to. So why would a woman, particularly a single woman, right, in her 50s or 60s, be at all attracted to join us? So that's what I'm going to speak about, because that's what I was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was, 61 or 62, and I had this life where I always had multiple streams of income. I always worked too hard, which makes me angry because I was always alone, generally, or with my partner in crime, Jennings, working. And we were working on renovating projects and restaurant and Airbnb and boutique hotel, and I'm a psychologist. So I had thought, I had this belief that I needed to work like this the rest of my life. I had been married for almost 30 years to Jennings' dad. He was and is a brilliant surgeon, professor at Vanderbilt. People send him patients from all over the country as a last resort, and he would save their lives. So worrying about money was not really something that was, I just thought you were supposed to be working on it all the time, because I came from a family where there was just terror about money. So this was shortly after 2009. And, you're praying for things, but you don't know what kind of vehicle they're going to come in. So I was praying because, now I'm 61 years old. Oh, hey, or 62. Let's start paying attention to our retirement. And all of that stuff that I had worked for that I felt so good about vanished. Real estate prices, just fell through to the basement, but the stock market within a matter of 2 or 3 days, my 401ks and whatever were just wiped out. So I got scared. I got really scared. I spent a lot of sleepless nights, and because I'm who I am, and I'm a worrier, that's not a warrior, a worrier. Was obsessed with this viewpoint. I don't know how many of you have ever had this fantasy, but I had this fantasy that I was an old woman, toothless, pushing a grocery cart full of cans and bottles. Now, right behind where I live on the marina, at that time, we did have a few people like that. And Jennings would know, and I would go into a store like our organic Winter Ridge, and I would think, well, maybe I could get a cashier's job here. I totally had lost sight of my future. And I didn't intend to get married again. I just knew that I was feeling old, and I was scared, and I felt like my life was behind me. And when I think back of that, it almost brings me to tears. So a friend of mine who had she's just the greatest manifester, Cynthia Bissonette, some of you know her. So Cynthia had been in network marketing, been madly successful at another company. And she used to tell me about the trips and the cars, and her children had been around the world many times in network marketing. And she said, Gloria, you meet the best people in network marketing. And I was so blindsided, obsessed with myself driving this grocery cart around and no belongings, that I would go, but Cynthia, that's not an option. That's network marketing. And what I didn't know, About the time I'm having these worries and feeling exhausted and looking at myself in the mirror going, oh my God, you're so old. She said, would you take a look at the research behind this company? This is a really remarkable company, and there are lots of top tier universities doing science on it. It's lots patents out the wazoo, whatever. People are studying it with their own dime. And I said, sure, I'll look at it, Cynthia. I'll take a look for you and I'll tell you. Well, I looked at it, and what I thought was going to take me a minute or two to say this is not valid research, I realized that this is what I'd been looking for all of my life, because I had always been looking for things that dealt with the root cause of illness, the root cause of aging, the root cause of emotional distress. There's got to be something central behind this process of deterioration in the body, right? Well, this is it. And I recognized right away people from Harvard and Ohio State and the American Heart Association, and I could go on and on and on and on. Vanderbilt, they don't do research on their own dime. It's too risky. They do research they get grants from pharmaceutical companies. They want the real deal, because it affects their tenure, it affects their career. So I've been seeing all of these big deal scientists are studying this branded category creating Nerf2 at that point. And I said, I don't care. I'm going to keep it a secret that it's network marketing, but Jennings is going to take it for the rest of her life. My whole family will, and I'm going to take it. Not knowing what was going to happen, and certainly not thinking that it was the answer to the woman who was pushing the grocery cart with no teeth. So I started taking it. There was no doubt in my mind that this is huge. 10 years later today, there is more conviction that this is huge than there ever was. So I tried it. I have a serious condition familial with my eyes. My mother was legally blind, as was my maternal aunt. And doctors said, you were going to be also. So picture me, I'm going to fall off the dock with my grocery cart and the cans because I'm going to be blind too. Well, I have a story about that, and then I'm going to let Kim talk. But I went to the eye doctor and he said, good job, Gloria, your eyes are improving. This condition I've been telling you to watch out for is improved. And then I went back again and it improved like by 50%. And then it was 75% better. And he said, this is incredible. Gloria, what are you doing? And so every aspect of my health has been transformed. My energy, my viewpoint, my community, all of these cool people on here, they're my family. And not the least of which, I totally replaced my income as a psychologist. And I had a huge practice, totally replaced it with the income that I make traveling around to different places, hanging out with you guys, just being a product of these products and believing that the most important thing we can do is to serve others and help them find the way. So that's my story. And Kim's got one.
Well, first of all, I just love doing this Wildly Healthy Happy Hour because this information is so life-changing and such a game changer and so important, and everybody really needs to know about it. And for me, I wasn't looking for anything like this. I had never done anything in the way of network marketing before. My experience, as Jennings had mentioned, had always been in technology companies. I spent 19 years in a Fortune 500 technology company, and then another 19 years as CEO of my own sort of global communications contracting business. And by 2003, the stress of that and a number of other things, trauma in my life, things like that, had accumulated to the point that I was starting to have some really scary symptoms. And I finally went to the doctor. I carved out a 45-minute window away from my desk so I could go to the doctor. And I went to the doctor for what was supposed to be a well-woman checkup. And she said to me, Kim, have you had a blood test lately? And I said, no, I can't think of the last time I had a blood test. She said, let's do some blood work. So lo and behold, turns out I had a blood disorder. And she sent me to an oncologist about this blood disorder. I guess he was a hematology guy as well. And they put me on oral chemo in 2003. And when Susan Silberman shared this with me, it was 10 years later. I was 10 years into a 15-year prognosis and had been on oral chemo that entire time. And I'd finally had to sell my business in 2009 because I just couldn't do it anymore. My mental acuity was so bad. And I was pretty much sitting on the couch waiting for the other shoe to drop. I didn't know when it was going to be. I knew I had, in theory anyway, 5 more years, but I was feeling myself getting progressively worse, feeling progressively worse. My body hurt all over. I had trouble sleeping at night. When I woke up in the morning, I felt like I'd been hit by a Mack truck, and I couldn't roll over and go back to sleep because I couldn't lay there any longer, and I wasn't rested. So I was just miserable. And I sold my business in 2009 and sat there for, what would it have been? I guess it would have been 4 years waiting for the next thing to happen. And that was the 10-year mark. And I went to my doctor's office, and Susan, who happened to be an occupational therapy an occupational therapist and a certified hand therapist, came running out of her office because she saw me come in. We were friends at the time, but she knew nothing about my story. Thank God she spoke with me, because she handed me some information and said, Kim, you have to look at this. And that was really all she had time to say to me. But she said it with such conviction that I felt like, here she is. She's a medical professional. I'm on the way to see my doctor. I don't know, how much longer I have to live. I'm going to listen. And so as soon as I got home, I looked at the information she had, and I was pretty stunned. I mean, I thought, wow, if this is anything like what it says it is, it's either going to improve my quality of life, reduce the amount of medication I have to take, maybe cure me. And if it does any of that, I'm sitting there looking at the business model, which is something I'd never seen before. And I thought, this looks like an interesting business model. This could be a retirement plan. And I've been spending the proceeds from the sale of my business, sitting on the couch, basically. So I saw that coming. I was married at the time. I'm a widow now, but I was married at the time. My husband was considerably older than me. And so that was one of the concerns is, financial well-being. But it wasn't my primary concern at the time. I just wanted to get that stuff in my body, and I wanted John to take it, and I wanted Blaine to take it, and I wanted to see what happened. And so that's what I did. And I was still taking the chemo. I took the chemo for another 1.5 years, but 6 weeks after I started taking the Nerve2 activator, I woke up and I felt so strange. I had to check in with myself from the feet up, and gradually it dawned on me that my body didn't hurt. For the first time in years, I woke up and I didn't feel like I'd been hit by a Mack truck. And I didn't feel like I needed to roll over and go back to sleep because I felt rested. And it was kind of a revelation at the time. I sort of sat up in bed and I put my feet on the floor, and my feet didn't hurt when they hit the floor. I couldn't believe how well I felt that morning. And that continued to hold. I mean, it actually got better and better over time. And finally, after 1.5 years like that, I worked up the courage to go against medical advice, quit the chemo. And, I'm sitting here now, 18 years into a 15-year prognosis. I'm a little older than the group you mentioned, we're kind of in the same club, but I'll be 66 here in a couple of months. Obviously, I have energy. Obviously, I feel good. Obviously, I'm happy. And as I started to feel better and better, I thought, wow, I think I want to share this with lots of people. And there's lots of people I love and I care about that need to know about this, because everybody wants to feel as good as I do. I can't believe it. Anyone would not. And so, I decided to jump in with both feet, and lo and behold, we got this amazing community, all these like-minded people that are just on track for a better way of life and to help people find better health, stable health, get more hours out of their day, maybe get more days in their life to spend with their loved ones and their family and enjoying, the benefits of being alive, which I now get to do. So, I'm amazed at what these products can do. And of course, LifeVantage, being the awesome company they are, went ahead and developed 2 more activators based on the same science as the first one. And every one I tried helped me feel a little bit better. I just kept getting better and better and better. And then each year I check in with myself and I realized that, wow, I feel better this year than I did last year. Like Gloria,
Right.
Just like your eyesight, So these are amazing products. Everybody needs to know about them. We even have a pet product now that works the same way. The science actually applies to all breathing mammals. And so people were giving the Nerve2 to their dogs and their horses and all kinds of things. So we developed a pet product for our pets, and people still give Nerve2 to their horses, and even the other activators as well, from what I understand. But couldn't be better. And I'm so grateful.
And how do you do this business? I'm thinking all the time we're trying to craft the perfect invite. So I think we need to take a page out of Susan Silberman's book. She did this fly through drive by. You've got to take a look at this. And then she was gone.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do, guys.
Yeah.
Well,
believe in it. So take a look.
And then I chased her down.
What I think so amazing is that you both were looking for something, but you had no idea that you were even looking, or that something like this was possible. And if that one person like Susan hadn't spoken up, how different would your life be? I know for me, if you hadn't told me, Mom, my life over the last 10 years would be on a completely different course. And so if we think about, the people that we love and care about who don't know about this yet, or you're a customer and you've got your awesome products at home, but the people around you haven't started taking it yet. Just really think about how special that is to just share with one person, and that one person starts this ripple effect that leads to amazing change in a whole community and across the globe. you know. What I love about this call is that, you know, there are a bunch of people on here and a bunch of people will watch this later, and we didn't know any of them before this. And how cool is that? That's, you know, it's making new friends. It's making, you know, connecting people that you may never have connected with before. And it's so powerful. So ladies, are you open to taking some questions? I'm sure that somebody on here probably has some questions for you about either, you know, what you started to feel when you took it, what your favorite product is, how you take your stuff, detox questions, all sorts of things. Anybody out there in the audience have a question you would like to ask these ladies? Feel free to unmute yourself. Trying to see you all.
Well, I would like to just say how grateful I am. I know both of these women pretty darn well. Thankfully, they both have amazing health stories, as you've just heard. And, you know, when you said, where would you be without this? I think Kim probably wouldn't be here.
No.
Oh, I just got big. So that's better. Anyway,
I would totally agree with that, Susan. You know, every day it just blows my mind that we barely knew each other back then, and now we're best friends. And I have no hesitation to say that you saved my life when you showed up in my life that day and said, you need to look at this. So very grateful to you for that.
well, and you know, unknowingly, I mean, at least consciously, unknowingly. But for people to hear that, because like you said, you didn't even know that you were looking for it. Gloria, I didn't know. My life has been changed. My health has been changed. I do the same thing. Like every day I go, how could I feel any better? But I do. And as you guys, I think know, I'm in Miami right now. I have family here. My niece said to me, you're reverse aging.
Yeah.
And you know, who doesn't want to hear that? But she, like, nobody like made her say it. That's what she sees. We see it in Donna. But that is what we're seeing. Now that you've been activated for a while, that is like, look at her.
Yeah.
She's truly glowing now.
Well,
Not
and
that
my
you
mom,
didn't look good before, but you truly, it happens. And it's such a beautiful thing. So thank you, Kim, for reminding me that how little I said
yeah.
and how many times I've stopped myself from saying something to somebody since then, because I thought I needed to say more, but I don't. I'm going back to saying.
Yeah, go back. And I like the fact that you just flew by, you know, you gotta look at this, and then you are out of there. So really less is more.
Yeah, basically you ran out and you said, Kim, I don't have a lot of time, but here, you got to look at this. And you just handed me the information and then said, I'll see you later, and took off.
And the information was the ABC.
I probably left a patient. I was probably treating a patient. I just ran out.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was in between patients or I saw you and I was like, oh, I gotta go.
Yeah, it was that prime time